welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And our guest today is Ian. So, Ian, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do and where you live.
Sure. My name is Ian Pitkoff. I'm the owner of Live to Fish. Um, Currently, we are a trademark company as well too. That we're trying to spread the word. And goals for this is I want to grow this into a large company where I can find all of my decals on cars, shirts everywhere. Have a really good social media presence. And one of my main goals that I want to do for this is I also want to get back to youth as well too, and support a lot of the youth with you've got a lot of young men with who need support with fishing in these large tournaments. I'd like to support some of the local schools for fishing clubs, and I'd really like to spend some time and help out with some of the profits I make from this to help out the youth.
It's amazing. And that's a great story. So, I guess in terms of helping young people out, how do you inspire, encourage someone to start fishing?
It's actually not that hard. Right now I get more enjoyment actually watching kids fish than fishing myself as I'm getting older here. But I'll take them out my boat and we'll go offshore. And for a kid, the first time to hook into a grouper and they find out that they're almost getting pulled off the boat, it changes their tune immediately. And then you watch all the kids want the fishing rod right away. It's usually that first hook set, that first big fight with a fish and landing it will change a kid's day. It really does. So generally for me now, I sit on the boat, I watch the kids fish, and then when they're doing well, I put on my dive equipment, I go in and I start spear fishing. So it's pretty exciting. I like watching the kids face small.
That's really cool. So, would you say that today I feel like so many kids have trouble with short attention spans, that they have trouble, you know, staying focused or paying attention, for in terms of fishing, because fishing gets to be very patient, right? So, do you think that kids today are more interested or less interested than kids maybe 10, 15 years ago?
I would probably say less interested. And I look back at myself as a kid. My father was very big on doing homework and studies and make sure you get all your homework done right when you come home from school. And he worked nights. I would come in the house very quietly, open up the front door, put my book bag down, and run in the garage, grab my fishing rod, and take off and not do my homework. So we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of this technology. My parents still hit the dinner bell to find me somewhere in the woods running around to come home. So we didn't have all the distractions as a kid for me that I see with the kids nowadays. I go out now and you start fishing with the kids and I just watch them on their phones the entire time, just not paying attention to what's going around them. So I say, yeah, the attention spans I think are a little bit different than what I was used to when I grew up. So I would agree
Okay,
with you.
cool. So, by the way, what inspired you? What inspires you to start this business?
So a little background, actually, this is the second go around for this company, believe it or not.
Mhm.
I actually lost a $20 million company. I was managing about 500,000 items online. Then we opened up Live to Fish. We had a beautiful fishing store here in Hudson, Florida. We were doing boat work. We were doing everything from boat electronics, stereo systems, you name it. And we were doing really well with the company. Live to Fish was spread out. I had it in other countries. I had it all over the US.
Uh-huh.
We felt like we really made it big time when we saw one of our decals on a DUI stop for live PD. We're like, oh, that guy's in our shop all the time. We're watching on national television, our sticker on the back of his car. We're all laughing. But we were doing really well with this, and we had a really good following. My decals are still all over the cars here. I see it all the time. What happened is I was running an e-commerce company managing about 250,000 items online through Amazon, eBay, Jet, websites, Price Grabber. I can't even remember all the third-party sites we were on. But I got fed a bad file. I was drop shipping as well too, and I got fed a bad file from a Fortune 250 company that was stealing from America, and I lost millions of dollars like that overnight with just falsified shipping weights. So I fought this company in court for about a year and a half, and I ran out of money. I gave it everything I had trying to prove a point, and I walked out with my Live to Fish shirt, and that was about what I walked away from. Then from there, 2 years went by, wasn't doing anything with it, and I'm out to dinner at Beef O'Brady's. sitting there,
Mhm.
and someone came in and they were wearing my Live to Fish shirt 2 years down the road. And he's like, "Hey, Ian, you remember me?" And I'm like, "Oh, awesome. How are you? Yeah, I remember you in the shop all the time." Sitting down next to me, and his shirt was completely disgusting and dirty. And he says, "Ian, I need new Live to Fish shirts." That's what he said to me. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to redo this." And so about 8 months ago, I fired this thing back up, built the website through Shopify, started trying to find all
Mhm.
the old drawings, figure out the content, rebuilt the site, set up a little fulfillment center, and just started from there. And that's kind of, it was a young man with a dirty Live to Fish shirt that inspired me to start over again and get it back up and running.
Cool, cool. Seriously, seriously, this is cool. So, do you think like this is your business and profession as well, but you learned something from this business, from this field, particularly that one cannot learn from some other business?
Absolutely. I'll tell you the most important thing I would tell you is don't drop ship. Make sure you have your own inventory in-house. If you don't have it, don't sell it. You know, rely on your own scales, rely on yourself. Do not rely on another company to feed you information, because half of it is it's just most people don't put the work in to make sure everything's correct. And so I would definitely say just check your own data, and just have everything in-house, and then figure out how to sell to the consumer, and then figure out how to sell to business to business, and make sure that it is the same type of money in the end. So like, for instance, if I'm going to sell to the consumer, I want to make sure that the business I'm selling to has the opportunity to sell it at the same price that I am. So everybody feels they're on a fair playing field. And I probably my best advice I could give.
So in terms of B2B, what does that look like for you?
So I just got into my first boating store, and I've got a few others that are interested in putting my products on their floor. And so it was pretty simple. I built an Excel file with everything that I have. Went through the website with them, brought them, all of my shirts. I have a good following already. So it made it very simple to get into a boating store with the Live to Fish brand. I think just the name Live to Fish itself resonates with anybody who owns a boat or anybody out running in the waters. And it protects you from the sun with UV protection. And I think it was just a very easy situation to get into the boating stores.
That's awesome. So what was your strategy to reach these stores? Did you call them, email? What did that look like for you?
They called me,
Oh,
which
wow.
actually was really nice. And I haven't given it 150%, which I'm getting ready to start putting some more effort into this. But it was actually a very simple situation. And I also say being organized, helping a store get set up properly, helping a store purchase the right products that are going to help them sell, making sure that you're there to support them, answer the phones, work for them. And I think it'll just pay itself off over time. A lot of manufacturers want to come in, they sell a product into a store, and then you never hear from them again unless you're spending more money. I think that's a wrong thing to do. I think you just need to stay in touch with them, support them, be willing to make a few sacrifices here and there if things are not working out, to make sure that your brand is doing well there out in the streets.
That makes sense. So in terms of, getting your product out, or just in general selling your products, what have you noticed in terms of some of the trends in 2023 that are different compared to when you were doing this business before?
That's a good question. I really don't see that there is much of a difference between, I'm talking 3 years ago, and we were doing extremely well. And same thing that I see happened in 3 years back is starting to happen again here in the same pace. And I am not spending money on advertising. I am doing things more of a word of mouth. I want to drive people back to my website. I don't want to use Amazon and Walmart and give my money away and they can have my content. That's just not going to happen. I'd like to do everything through my website, do everything through, retail stores. And I kind of want to stick to that concept until I can generate enough revenue to open up my fishing store again.
That's awesome. Yeah, we always talk to people. We always say that's the best strategy is to do it through your own website, not eBay, not Amazon, because they're charging also so much in fees. But as you mentioned, this issue with data, controlling things that you don't want them to control can be a huge problem.
Amazon probably stole about 70,000 items of unique content that we built back in the day, and then they cut you out. So they cut you out. So if you're redistributing products, they'll figure out through data what is working and doing well, and then they'll go make a deal with the manufacturer. The manufacturers always sell out to Amazon, and then all the little guys end up losing out after they've built the business for that.
So, in terms of trends, just regarding fishing in general, what are you seeing right now that people should know about in the industry?
I would say, I find unique products of private labeling fishing rods, private labeling reels. I find that, I have a very good friend of mine, and his son is one of the top bass fishermen in the state of Florida, and he's now competing in nationals for a big bass tournament. But talking to all these young kids, they all like the small companies with a private label name that's not Penn, that's not Shimano, that's not all of the big names out there. So I find that a lot of the young kids are trying to find something that is not sitting in the mainstream, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you see people going more towards products that are made in the USA compared to made in China? Is that a big difference nowadays?
Yeah, so in the fishing industry, made in the USA is always a big thing that is always brought up. But unfortunately, nothing's really made in the USA. Everybody orders their products from, Thailand, Pakistan, India, China, and they get them over here, and then they'll do whatever they do to their fishing rod, private label it, and they call it made in the USA. And I find that very comical. But that's generally what's happening with most products that are sitting here in the market. So really nothing's made here anymore.
Right.
And if it is, it's uber expensive.
No, that's for sure. So, I guess you mentioned your website. I guess how else are you using technology nowadays for your business?
So I'm sorry, repeat that question one more time.
So, we're a tech company, so we always ask this question. You mentioned that you have a website, but I guess like in what other ways is technology, part of your day-to-day life when it comes to running your business?
So I would say overall, there has been a lot of improvements over the last 5 years with online stores, like Shopify, for instance. So 5 or 6 years ago, most of these web stores did not incorporate shipping. We had to go out, create our own shipping contracts with UPS, FedEx, DHL, and then play the game going back and forth and who could give you the best shipping rates, which was a very complicated process. Most people never understood what a UPS contract meant, or dimensional weight, residential extra. They just never understood contracts. So Amazon started doing shipping and included it in there. And what made it difficult is if you went through Amazon or Walmart and used their shipping rates, you're losing your own volume for your own web store to ship out stuff on your own, and you lose that ability. So we used to always contract with UPS and FedEx directly, negotiate our own rates down as low as we possibly could, and use our own rates so that way we could ship out through our own web store. Now Shopify's rates, or a few other websites that are out there, or they all offer shipping rates now. So you can pretty much, and they're pretty competitive right now. So I don't need to go out and go try to plug in my UPS count into a Shopify store anymore. So you're able to put something on a scale, ship it out, and you get the rate right there on the screen. And it rate shops for you as well too, where rate shopping didn't happen back in the day. You basically had to compare between UPS, the post office, DHL, and see who gave you the best rate on a product going to, I don't know, North Dakota, for instance, in a residential area. Today, Shopify does all that for you and allows you to pick the lowest rate possible to ship it to the client within the time frame that that client had asked for.
No, yeah, that's awesome. What would you say, in terms of Shopify, just your website in general, I guess like some of your pain points in terms of where it could be improved?
Uploading products from Shopify to some of the other sites is a little painful, and it takes a little bit of time. Shopify does not connect with a Walmart or an Amazon at this point. There is no API connection between the two. That can be, if somebody wants to expand and use Amazon or Walmart from those third-party stores, it doesn't work very well. Sometimes it is, and also if you are using like a solid commerce or a Java or a inventory management system, if you are spread out, let's say over more than one sales channel, let's say you're in a Shopify in your web store, and you're in a Walmart, you're in an eBay, you're in something else. If you don't pick the right web store, third-party inventory management systems to do the shipping for you, will not connect to your website. And so sometimes things may be very difficult if you don't know from the beginning as you expand, and it becomes a lot of work to fix all that.
Yeah, that's for sure. So are you looking at other, trends in terms of technologies like AI or blockchain? Like, have you thought about that just in general, to help improve efficiency day to day for your business?
To be honest with you, no, I have not. I actually looked a little bit into it. I don't know enough yet, or I haven't read enough or spent enough time digging into it to see how AI could help me improve, whether it's increase sales or exposure or driving traffic to the site. I haven't really dug into that enough to speak intelligently.
So, by the way, connecting Shopify with other platforms is another gap that you mentioned. Like whatever you are going to mention, many people are going to view this, and these discussions are gonna fill these gaps. So that's a good point, I believe. But I hope you are doing good with the Shopify website, and I'm not sure how much expansion you are expecting in next few months, maybe like 6 months. So like in this expansion, there might be many things involved, like other than this website as well. Like there will be many things involved that are offline, off the technology, of the internet as well. So what do you think? Where do you see your business after 6 months?
In next 6 months, I am hoping to be, I really want to focus on retail stores. Is really want to focus to help spread the word. Not having a retail store, selling something off a website can be a little bit more difficult, especially in clothing and hats and those type of things, without seeing it in person. So I really want to focus on getting into more retail stores, and that will always help drive and build your audience in that way. And they can physically touch the shirts, touch the hats, play with decals or whatever other products, cups and anything else for that matter added to the list. So I really want to focus on getting it more in retail stores.
Yeah, that's good. But this thing is, oh, great. Hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't even know I wasn't on the whole time. I'm really sorry about
No
that.
worries.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. No.
No worries. So, by the way, it gives me a sense like you have a lot information about this industry. In fact, in this industry, people are not very much active in on I believe people are not that much active on the internet. They are not that much focused, I believe. And this thing reduces the encouragement for the new entrepreneurs. This is my perception. It can be wrong. So what do you think about it?
I would say for new entrepreneurs coming on, you got to learn by mistakes. There is no college course for this stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You just got to go in. You got to read. You got to put the work in. And I have probably thrown more money on a campfire trying to learn this game than you could imagine. I mean, there's days I've lost $30,000 in a day on making a simple mistake. I will tell you, my first day of learning this stuff, I'll never forget. We did back in the day. I'll go back to Amazon. It's the gorilla in the room. The first day we went to Amazon to figure out the power of online and sales. We took a simple pen that was maybe $1 at my cost, and I put it on Amazon for 75 cents just to see what would happen. It was a popular pen. I didn't understand it. I think I sold 600 of them in a matter of like 60 seconds. And I'm hitting the button so fast to shut it off because I'm losing 25 cents every time it comes through. And then I got to ship it to the clients. I'm like, stop, 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 stop. And I just watched the sales just ring right down the screen. I'm like, oh my gosh, my light bulb went on right there. And then from there, I knew the power of the internet and selling products online. And that was actually a very interesting day. And I think I lost probably $300 that day trying to just understand what was going on. And then from there, I really just started digging in and learning everything I possibly could online, how to upload things to Excel files. And it just continued to grow from there.
What would you say, one lesson that you could, somebody's listening to this, like, is just getting started, because you mentioned you had a business that was very successful and then you had to close it down. Now you're starting again. Like, what is the biggest thing that you've learned that you wish you could have told your younger self?
I wish I could have started earlier. I wish I had my knowledge today and go back. But probably the biggest thing I could say with anybody is figure out how to skip wholesalers. Cut out the wholesalers, figure out how to get your own company name, get your own trademark, get your own logos, bring everything in-house and figure out how to market it and get it out there on your own and skip the wholesalers. Sell to the wholesalers, sell to the end users, sell to the retail stores, skip the wholesale market. And I think that would it would help out a lot of people avoid some hard lessons.
But do you think that avoiding wholesale, I feel like for a lot of companies, it's like a pretty difficult thing, um, or somebody who's just getting started? Like, is that something that you think is feasible for, not just, I don't know, somebody starting from square one?
Mhm.
Is that like an easy thing, or I guess like how would somebody go about that?
It's well, if you are going in and you're running a website or you're selling, in third-party sites and you go to a wholesale, you probably have, let's just say in America, you're competing with 200 different companies doing the same thing online. So you start taking this stuff online, we call it a race to zero. So everybody puts repricing platforms on their website to help sell these products at a lower price than somebody else to entice somebody to buy from them. All you're doing is just racing to zero to make no money and sit on inventory, especially if you're just doing it online. What I would tell people is find a unique product, find something unique, find their own brand, find their own image, and go that route. And they'll find more success in trying to resell somebody else's product.
That's cool. And but looks like you are pretty knowledgeable about this area. So I think why don't you give consultancy to the people, like maybe online consultation to the people who are following your steps?
I could definitely do that. To be open and honest, I'm building a lot of homes right now too for people. I do a lot of waterfront
Okay.
homes. I estimate homes, budget, and I'm building a lot of waterfront. I've got 18 waterfront projects that I'm actually building for clients right now. So I'm very busy building some very complicated homes for people right now. So and it's very lucrative. And so I'm doing this, and then taking my time and trying to build Live to Fish the right way with the right image and build all of my sales organically. I don't want to spend money out there for advertising, those type of things. I'd like to build it organically. And so I'm really trying to build this the right way and do something a little bit different than what we did last time, just due to the fact because I don't have a retail store right now.
That's smart. So I guess just to wrap, if we're going to have this conversation again in about 3 years, where could we see Lift to Fish being in that moment?
I'm hoping you find it in every city on the back of someone's vehicle. I really do. And so that would be the goal. I'd like to see my social media pages filling up with everybody catching fish and showing their fish catches. And I would like to see if I could get myself, and I'd like to be in every state in the US. I really would.
That's so exciting.
Wish
Well,
you luck.
we're rooting for you, wishing you the best of luck, and we hope that it comes true. I mean, really, it's a cool slogan because to your point, lift to fish. I mean, how can you not love that slogan? Lift to fish. I mean, it's so simple and it's to the point. So, wishing you the best of luck, and we're rooting for you.
Awesome. Hey, man, I really appreciate you guys very much. And I thank you for having me on today as well, too. And I'll take all the support I possibly can get.
Of course, and thank you for your time. So,
Awesome. And if you guys are in town here in Arapika, get on my boat. We'll do some fishing.
sounds great. Thanks, Ian.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good.
All
Thank you
right,
guys.
thanks. All right,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.